everybody. So we're gonna have the next tasting of one of my home brews. Now, the goal of this back in 2019 was save some year after year just to see what happens to a home brew after it's been, I guess, in the back of the cabinet for a while. I don't know which review this is, the tasting, if it's 3 or 4, but I'm sure it has to be around 3 or 4, but it'll be in the description. I'll go look it up. But this one is 2-row rye and wet Centennial. Now, wet Centennial, I had to brew this around harvest time of hops. I was growing 4 hops in back, and I just pulled 2 of them out last year, and Centennial was one of them, just because I've got so many that I didn't need them anymore, so I pulled them. But this was bottled on 8/24/20. It'll be in the playlist if you want to go back and see the first review, the second, and maybe the third, and maybe this is the fourth. 5.13% ABV. Now, when you're using wet hops, that's pulling them off the vine, putting them in there, putting them in, at the beginning of the boil at 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever. So that is going to soak up more liquid, those hop cones. So my guess is this was supposed to be around 5.5 maybe, and because it soaked up so much liquid, the ABV is a little bit lower. I can't remember what carbonation tablets I use. It does look like there's some stuff in the bottom of this. Hopefully this isn't a bottle bomb when I open it. If it is, you guys are going to see it. So let's go ahead and open it. Okay, hiss. Good smoke. Still smoke coming off. So back in 2019 and 2020, I was brewing 6 to 7 beers a week. Depending on what they were, I would brew them all one week. They would ferment, then I would brew another batch. So I did brew a lot. So if you haven't taken a look at any of those videos, go ahead. Not a lot ahead, which is surprising. Most of the time, home brewers, especially new ones, if they use like a water sugar solution, they'll do it for 5 gallons and they have under. So that's why Steve and I, when we started this, we wanted to test just the pearls to see what happened after a while. Would they overcarb? Would they undercarb? What would happen to them? So, I mean, we've got some bubbles coming up. Now, this glass is etched, so we're going to get a little bit more. But head is pretty much gone. Looks like a lager or a Kolsch or a Pilsner. Very watered down yellow in color. I mean, you can see my face through there. There's a little chill haze because I just pulled this out of the fridge. I guess if you wanted a clear IPA, just let it sit for a couple years. It'll clear up. Let's go ahead and smell, see what we get. Malt, like a sweeter malt, which I would kind of expect after let's say 2 years, almost 2 years. So 8/24, this is July 3rd when I'm doing this review. So yeah, you're going to get a little bit of that sweet malt in there. That's going to take over. That's why they usually say with IPAs, 3 to 6 month shelf life is when you should drink them, just so everything's fresh in there. So I would say by the smell, that sweet malt in some of these other ones that I've done over a year old, yeah, you're going to get that. That's about all I smell. Maybe a touch of citrus in there, but for the most part, sweet malt. Let's go ahead and taste. A little sweet malt, a little touch of citrus. It's like watered down. like scares me. There's yeah, like a light sweet malt with a touch of citrus. And that is it. No bitterness, nothing. Even in the aftertaste, as your palate's warming up to this, there's again a little sweet malt. I would almost say grapefruit, citrus in the aftertaste. I would say grapefruit, sweeter grapefruit, almost like. Okay, I'm gonna say this, but not all the way. Like if you took a grapefruit, cut it in half, put a little bit more sugar than normal on the top of the grapefruit. I don't put sugar on my grapefruit, but a little too much sugar. So you still kind of get that. I almost want to say grapefruit sourness, but it's not as this is not as sweet as overdoing the sugar on a slice of grapefruit, let's say. Very light, kind of scares me. Um, I wonder what this was like fresh because there's no dry hops. I don't dry hop with my own hops just because, um, yeah, I'm not gonna ruin a batch of beer. At least that's what I think. If usually for the most part you're going to use pellet hops to dry hop, and not cones. So I've never done it, and I don't want to do it because I think it'll ruin the beer. Or I should say, in fact, not bad at all. Yeah. I don't want to drag this on by saying the same thing all the time, but I think for 2 years, I don't see anything wrong with this. I'm gonna finish this one, and I should do more. But yeah, overall, a decent beer. Leave down in the comments if you brewed a beer and it's been in the back, and you forgot about it and you got it cold and drank it, what you turned out with. But if you enjoyed this review, check out some homebrew videos over here. And until next time, happy homebrewing.